Should I get a zoom or a prime? I mean, they say primes have the nicest glass, but a zoom gives me more flexibility. And what about f-stop? Is f4 enough, or do I need f2.8 or f1.8? And should I get a fixed aperture or variable aperture lens? And then there's stabilization. Do I really need a lens that's image stabilized? I mean, does it really matter? Damn it, I just want someone to tell me what the best lens for video is. When you're looking to buy your first lens for video, it's super common to want to know what the absolute best lens for video is. And that's what you're going to find out in this video. So keep watching. I'm Colette Nickel, the founder of Story Envelope Media, and you are watching The Microfilmmaker. There are thousands of lenses on the market, so when you're trying to figure out what is the best lens for video, it can seem nearly impossible, but it's not. Now, before I tell you what I think are the best lenses for video, I want to go through a framework that will help you make lens purchasing decisions, basically for the rest of your life. What focal length do you need? What do you mean by that? Well, are you going to be shooting super wide shots with a wide angle view, or are you going to be shooting more zoomed in, like a paparazzi shot? So you're trying to film a celebrity who's 3 blocks away. A little bit of both. Okay, great. Now, how fast does the lens have to be? What do you mean by that? Well, what's the minimum aperture that you need? What do you mean by that? Okay, so are you going to be shooting outside with tons of light, or are you going to be shooting inside with absolutely no studio lights? A bit of both. Great. Next question is, are you going to be shooting any handheld? Yes. Okay, perfect. And finally, I need to know if your camera has a crop sensor. So, do you have a DSLR with a crop sensor, or a micro four thirds camera with a crop sensor, or are you shooting on a full frame camera? I have a 70D. Okay. So, if you have the 70D, that means you're going to need a wider lens in order to compensate for that. Alright, now over to my recommendation. Before I dive into that answer, let me just mention something that you might not know, because a lot of people when they're buying their first camera, they actually do not know this, and that is that every camera has a specific lens mount. Every brand of cameras has their own proprietary lens mount, and that's why there is no such thing as a best lens for video, because depending on what camera you have, you will need a different lens. You can use a lens adapter to take, say, a Nikon lens and mount it onto your Canon camera, but right now, searching for the best lens for you for doing video, I do not recommend dabbling with adapters if you're ready to buy a really nice piece of glass. Okay, so on to what I think are the best lenses for video for each camera brand. If you have a Canon crop sensor camera, the best lens for you is the 17 to 55mm lens. This is a standard zoom with image stabilization. If you have a Canon full frame camera, then the best lens for video for you is the 24 to 70mm f2.8 L glass lens. If you have a Sony crop sensor camera, then the best lens for you is the 16 to 50mm f2.8 lens. Now, if you have a Sony full frame, then the best lens for you will be the 24 to 70mm f2.8 lens. If you have a Panasonic crop sensor camera, then the best lens for you is the 12 to 35mm f2.8 lens. And I don't really know anybody with Panasonic full frame cameras. I don't know if that's even a thing, so I'm not going to tell you what the best lens for that is, because I don't know. Lastly is Nikon. So if you're watching this video and you actually haven't bought your camera yet, then I definitely do not recommend buying a Nikon camera if you're going to specialize in video. Nikon is really good for photography, but the Nikon ecosystem is not really designed for video. Sure, you can shoot video on a Nikon camera, but it is not what they're trying to become known for. So that's not the way that I would go, and their lenses are quite limited. So actually, the best lens for the Nikon crop sensor camera to shoot video is actually 2 lenses. In order to get the wide range for the Nikon, you need the 12 to 24 Sigma Art lens. There's nothing else that's going to give you that wide range. And then for the more medium shots, close-ups, you're then going to need the 24-70 Sigma art lens. And based on my analysis, there's nothing else that's really going to work. So those are great lenses, and that would totally give you an awesome look, but it is just going to cost you a bit more because you have to buy two lenses that are over $1,000 each in order to get the range that you really need in order to capture all the stuff you're going to want to capture. So that's the situation for the Nikon crop sensor camera. For the full frame camera, you would just buy the 24-70 millimeter Sigma f 2.8, the art lens, and you would be good to go. And that's a great lens, so you'd be happy as a clam. So I guess the other thing is, if you're thinking of buying a Nikon, then buy a Nikon full frame if you're planning on doing video. I wouldn't recommend buying a Nikon crop sensor camera if you're going to be doing video. Now that I've shared what I think are the best lenses for video, let me know what you think. What lens do you use to shoot video? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Drop down to the comments below and let us know. If you liked this video, if you learned something, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and head over to storyenvelope.com, which is my website where I teach people how to become solo filmmakers. And you can take my free 7-part video series, which teaches you filmmaking tricks that will double your image quality without costing you thousands of dollars. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Hey, little voodoo child, you got me running